Welcome back! In this video, I will be giving you a guide on what each Seiko Dive Watch offers at different price points, and whether or not it may be suited for you as a beginner, small collector, or planning to add more on your already solid collection. Either way, this video is purely a guide on my experience on collecting Seiko Dive Watches. I'd rather stick to the facts first and leave the personal opinions of each watch later on. We're going to stick to the modern ones and leave out the SKXs of the world in this one, since they are obsolete. These are watches that you can still buy brand new as of this video. All watches featured here are mechanical watches only, and these are watches that I've owned for quite some time now. For each watch I have here, it will be representing a category from affordable, mid-tier, premium, to luxury Seiko Dive Watches. As always, if you're new to the channel, if you're interested in topics like this one, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Thank you. First one is the entry-level or affordable category, and representing is the Seiko Blue Lagoon Samurai Limited Edition. Now, I know I started off with the limited edition, but hear me out. This actually has 6,000 pieces available, and I think calling it a limited edition in Seiko's vast lineup of watches is not enough for it to be truly limited. So the price on this one is at around $500 to $600, and the Samurai reference number SRP F03 with the black waffle dial and the SRP 79 with the Manta dial hover around the same price point. So I guess we can imagine this as just a plain Samurai watch, because other than the dial design and the color, the watch is still the same. The Seiko Turtle SRPE 093 is also priced near them. It might be cheaper since it comes on a silicone strap, but since we only have the Samurai here, this is what we'll be using. So what are you getting for around $600? You get a stainless steel material with a stainless steel bracelet, 200 meters of water resistance. The crystal is a Hardlex, which is not as scratch resistant as sapphire, but it still looks nice. The lume on this one is bright and as to be expected on every Seiko diver. Yes, even the affordable ones, the looms are excellent. I believe this watch does not have a dye shield coating, which Seiko advertises that they use on their bracelets to lessen scratches. The movement is the 4R35, which is a solid movement with hacking and manual wind mechanisms. Let me just show you that real quick. See, the second hand stops there, and you can wind the watch. Overall, it is the most basic Seiko Dive Watch you can buy with an already respectable build quality. This goes the same with the Seiko Turtle, the Seiko Monster, the Baby Tuna, and the bezel click is nice, but as we go along, we'll see on how it improves. These mechanical dive watches are your doors to experience what Seiko has to offer. For the mid-tier, we'll be using the SPB 143 as an example. In this category, we have the likes of the Seiko SPB 317, or also known as the Slim Willard, which I will be definitely giving a long-term review. Stay tuned for that. The Seiko Sumo, the Marine Master 200, SPB 185, and the Seiko Willards such as the SPB 151 and 153. These are all roughly at the same price range at around $1,200 to $1,300. Again, depending if the watch has a silicone strap, it is going to be cheaper than the bracelet counterparts. So what do you get for $1,200? It is a much refined watch compared to the entry levels, and you get to choose a plethora of watches which are reissued. The 62 mass and the Willard are a few examples. The build quality of this one is much better, and the case and the bracelet resist scratches thanks to the dye shield coating. It still has 200 meters of water resistance. The crystal is now sapphire, which is great, and you can confidently wear it knowing it is much harder to scratch. The AR coating is also nice and clear. The bezel click also feels more refined. You also get the 6R35 movement, which is liked and hated by many. You do get an increase in power reserve now at around 70 hours. The beat rate is still the same. It is still not that smooth sweep that you may want. You get a lot more choices, and if you like the iconic designs of the old Seiko Dive watches, you will be pleased by the selection. Overall, the mid-tier, you will definitely notice a few differences in terms of aesthetics, but the gap between the affordable and the mid-tier is still small, as it is only a few improvements. the affordable choices are still enticing. For the premium, the baddest dive watch Seiko's ever made, the Marine Master 300 will be the model here. And on premium, the price range would be at $2,900 to $3,200. Now, this is a very big jump coming from $1,200. That is almost like buying 3 mid-tier Seikos compared to 1 premium. So, you are getting a watch that Seiko does not cut any corners in. The watch is phenomenal, and at this price point, you also have more faithful reissues, such as the Seiko Umera SLA-051, the SLA-049, beautiful watches and with fantastic finishing. Also, the SLA-067 Night Vision 62 mass, or the newly released SLA-073. I may also include the SJE-093 here, but it is a bit out of budget. But I guess at this price point, it is still attainable. These watches are in exquisite build quality. They are Zaratsu polished, and it simply means they are hand polished to get that extra mirror finish that the affordable and the mid-tier do not have. In this one, you get a ceramic bezel. I'm not sure if it applies to all SLAs, but to the Marine Master 300, it just looks phenomenal. Let's try the click here. Definitely smoother and crispier than the 2 previous ones. It has a sapphire crystal, it has a dye shield coating, and the jump in quality is very noticeable, which is only fair since it costs a whole lot more. You also get 300 meters of water resistance, although the Umera and other only get 200. Let me just show you 300 meter text there. So, not all SLA divers are 300 meters. Running is the ever dependable and legendary 8L35 movement, which is basically a Grand Seiko movement. You can see there. But with less aesthetic designs, it only has 50 hours of power reserve, but you do get that smooth sweeping hand at 28,800 vibrations per hour. In terms of servicing, especially this one, because this is open through glass, you can't open it through the back. This watch will be quite difficult as compared to the 4R and 6R. Also, it is expensive at around $400. Some Seiko service centers might service the movement or be sent to Japan. That would depend on your location. Overall, if you're getting a watch that is assembled in Grand Seiko Studio, please correct me if I'm wrong, you're already getting Grand Seiko quality at a fraction of the price. Personally, this category is filled with iconic watches and finished at the highest quality. You won't be disappointed in this one. For the luxury category, since we are talking about Seiko Dive Watches, this is what I believe to be a luxury Seiko Dive Watch. All the things that make a watch premium combined with everything overkill and unnecessary, and you get the Seiko LX line. The only Seiko you can buy with a spring drive. Yes, the SLAs are already excellent, but they just did so much in this one that you would definitely think is a different watch brand. The LX line consists of GMT watches and dive watches. For the dive watches, you have a few options, and the difference is in color only. There is the SNR029, which is this one, the SNR045, the green one, and is limited edition. Also an SNR041, which is also limited. There is also a blacked out one, SNR031, but at this price range, your choices in Seiko Dive Watches are only these. Again, this is a very niche line. You can already have a couple of SLAs for this one watch. So what are you getting for $6,000? You get a titanium finished case and bracelet, and it is Zaratsu polished, which actually tricks your brain into thinking it looks like stainless steel from afar. It weighs lighter than the SPB143 at around 150 grams. The bracelet size to my wrist, of course. You're getting a sapphire crystal and ceramic bezel. It has the same 300 meters of water resistance as the SLA-021. The luminosity in this one is insane. The coating is super hard coating, which I honestly can't tell since it also scratches the same as my SLA-021. But the main star of the show is the spring drive right there. 5R65, which is an undecorated 9R65 movement from Grand Seiko. 72-hour power reserve, and you get mesmerized by that gliding second hand. Accuracy is at plus minus 15 seconds per month, so you don't have to worry about accuracy on this watch. The serviceability is limited as you have to send the watch to Japan to service the spring drive. That is the only option as of this video, and the price is almost another Seiko Turtle at $535. Again, this is just an estimate. That's what you get for $6,000 if you're going the Seiko Divers luxury route. Overall, this is the best that Seiko has to offer. Is it the best for me? Definitely. For some, the SLA is already enough. I think if you collect Swiss watches and jump to this one, it may be hard to appreciate, since the SLA already offers that. This is just an excess of what the SLA has to give, and that's why it is in the luxury. You don't need it, but it does the same things other can, only in excessive ways. So here is our final table that shows the summary of each Seiko Dive Watch from their respective price range. In each category, you're getting a better watch, but it doesn't get any practical either. So I hope this guide has shed some light, since there are a lot of dive watches to choose from and different models. It may not be the most comprehensive guide, but in my experience, it is promising to own an SLA watch, which is this one. It is to me a good and solid watch to own if you have the budget. The choices are a lot and the quality is far from the mid-tier. The affordable ones are great to use as daily, and you're sure to have it banged up all the time. Or maybe if you want to own your first Seiko Dive Watch. These watches are great for beginners and are attainable, which is this one, the Seiko Samurai and the Turtles. They're good entry-level watches. The mid-tier ones are the ones you either hate or love because of how far off they look from the reissue sometimes, which is the Seiko SPB143 and also its other peers such as the SPB185 and the 317. The luxury, on the other hand, is unnecessary but caters to only a few crazies out there like me. That's all for today, and I hope this video helped you in any way possible. If I missed anything, just feel free to comment down below. I'll see you soon. Stay safe.